I'm going to be a little bit selfish with this video. It's mainly for myself. But if you find value in it and you enjoy it, then that's great. And I appreciate you watching. But one of the biggest mistakes I made was not documenting my life when I wanted to start documenting it at 16, right? I was 16 years old. I had the idea of putting it on YouTube, making it really, really cool, like high film production, all that great stuff. And I realized that at the time, obviously, I had the fear and anxiety of like, oh, what will people think about me and all this BS that really doesn't matter at the end of the day. And now, fast forward, I'm fortunate enough to be in the infancy of my entrepreneurial career that I can document now. Now, I wish that I've documented way more failures along the way instead of just little successes. Now, there has been some stuff that I've documented that's failures, if you want to call them that, but more so exactly where I started, like starting in the initial stages. I do have some videos. I still have a picture that I actually posted on my Instagram as of recording this video. It's 3:30 on July 19th. If you go and check out my Instagram, you'll see a picture of me in my parents' basement. I'm taking like a selfie, and behind me is my shitty old little desk in the corner of the basement room that I was sleeping in, and with a couple laptops on there that I was able to borrow and start building my skills, start building the business from scratch, right? Brand new entrepreneur, sleeping in my parents' basement, dusty old basement, sleeping beside uh, a fireplace that would wake me up in the middle of the night because I was breathing in its terrible air. I was coughing in the middle of the night, and then I was sleeping on a bed that was basically like a chain link fence. It was brutal, but hey, it's the trenches, right? It was the starting point of my growth path, really. So, and now here we are. I've been able to grow as an entrepreneur, as a person, grow the business, obviously. And I was fortunate enough to move into a new environment where I get to rent a beautiful condo. It's nothing luxurious or big or anything like that. I actually lucked out on a really good deal that I got down here in the city. So I'm here and I'm building, and I don't want people to think when they look back on this, or even myself, obviously, uh, that I was just kind of some like success that just had this condo and stuff like that, because I started in the trenches, man. Like, and I still see myself as that student of the game, still learning. I'm not the kid in the basement anymore, but I'm the young man in his 20s that is still building as an entrepreneur and still understands that there's a long game and I still have to grow and develop skills and everything like that. And I don't let ego get in the way of thinking that I haven't made, or even, get to like 100K a month. And it's like, oh, I'm balling out right now and stuff like that. It's like, you're still so minuscule on a macro scale. Like, there's so much that you still need to do if you want to grow. And speaking of failures, right, and documenting the failures, like recently in the business, I've had to let clients go because the culture fit is just not there and what we want to do long term. And, you know, it's the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? So we had to really evaluate who we want to work with and all this stuff. And yes, the revenue takes a bit of a hit, the business takes a bit of a hit, and it feels like a failure. And you start looking inwards internally at yourself as like, what have I done? What can I do better? What do we need to fix in order to make sure this doesn't happen again? And et cetera, right? So with that being said, I'm basically holding myself accountable now to, yes, document the journey, but all of it, right? The failures, the successes, and just be fully transparent along the way, because I want people to look back at me throughout the journey before any quote unquote major success happens, where just blow up and all this stuff, right? Not for anything vanity wise, but more so just, when you stay consistent over a longer period of time. But back to the original point, I want people to look at this and be like, wow, he really did come from a place similar to myself, right? I didn't have anything handed to me growing up. I had to work for everything that I wanted and prove myself in many ways. And I still feel like I am that person today, because I know I'm young in the game of business, and the type of clientele that we deal with is a lot of the times twice my age. So a lot of them see me as some younger guy. They ask me how old I am. They ask me how long I've been doing things for. I know it's like an age thing, but hey, that's part of the game when you're young, right? There's a little bit of proving yourself. And the best way to do that is to continue to invest in yourself, document the wins, the losses, learn, improve, continue to develop your skills, and just soak yourself full of knowledge and wisdom, right? I think that's my advantage, is I do have a lot of knowledge and wisdom for somebody that is in their mid 20s, like compared to a lot of other people. But it's not by like, not to pump my own ego. It's because I've actually taken the time to invest in skills and taken time to invest in reading certain books and articles and things that I can consume, that I can apply. So that's, I mean, where the advantage comes in from, and continue to develop and iterate and tweak as we go and build, and, take shots on the chin, take the bullets where you need to take the bullets, take the losses, and then keep going forward, because you cannot lose if you don't quit, right? And that's something I really understand. It's like, I know I'm not going to quit. I don't know when I'm going to win big, but I know I'm never going to quit, and I can't lose if I don't quit. So I'm playing the long game at the end of the day, and I just want to document and I want to show everybody that transparency, like full transparency of who I am, is somebody that's not going to quit. And no matter what it is that I do, I want to make sure that I fulfill my potential while I'm here, right? And ultimately, that impacts other people, right? Because when I was an athlete, um, I can make all the excuses that I was limited in resources, but I know that there was probably a lot more that I could have been doing to get me even further along in a different growth path. But fortunately, here I am now starting something brand new. I'm like a clean slate in my 20s, and the best thing possible in my mind is a young man in his 20s is that you're a clean slate. You get to develop yourself into anything and anybody that you want to be in this world and be the best at something, right? So that's how I feel right now. And internally, I still feel like I'm 19 years old, right? I still got a lot of energy. I stay in shape. I stay fit, and I just feel like I have the world at my fingertips, and I'm just really excited to keep documenting and showcasing the growth path, showcasing the ups and the downs, right? The downs as well, where down the dumps, shit doesn't seem too great, uh, but we're gonna make it right no matter what. And I have faith that no matter what, we will prevail, right? We will make it out on the side that we see ourselves living, on the life that we see ourselves living. I get to, fortunately, I wake up and when I work here from my desk, I see a beautiful lake here in Ontario, and the airport there from Billy Bishop is just, it's so nice to look at. And I sit there and I envision myself like, getting on the plane, going wherever I want, traveling to places that are beautiful. And like, I keep that vision in my mind every day of, why do I do what I do? Why should I be documenting it along the way too? Well, because look at where you were, and now, 10 years down the line, look at how far you've come, right? And I'm really only a couple years into this. So I've still got a lot to prove. And I think we underestimate the amount of time it's going to take to become as great as we want to become. So in this case, keep in mind that if you think that it's going to take you a year to get to where you want to be, think 3 years, think 5, think 10, right? Because it's going to take time no matter what it is that you want to do. And you just have to face it. You have to face it head on. It's the work that we have to do. So, like I said, I'm making this video more so kind of selfishly for myself, just to kind of look back on and document, remind myself to keep documenting as we go and keep improving. So if you found some alignment in this, awesome. Leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me personally, you can leave them down in the comment section, but you can also reach out to me on Instagram as well. Go check out that Instagram story, me in the basement. I'll try and pull it up on a higher production video one day, where I can pull it back up and show you some old clips of me in the trenches back home and look there. But hey, you're watching me now in the trenches here. So that's the good news, right? It looks like a cool place back there. You see buildings and stuff like that, but really, at the grand scheme of things, like, I'm fortunate for where I am, but it's nowhere close to where I want to be. And I just need to remind myself every day that I am grateful for what I have, but keep the vision in mind of what we're striving for. I'm running away from the old life and a trap that could be, poverty, and, living in a way that you don't really want to live, and not living by your terms and your rules. And we're chasing the dream of complete freedom and choosing life to be reality, or you're making life the reality of what you want it to be each and every day, right? Freedom of choice for whatever it is that you want to do, right? In every aspect of your life. And, that's going to take a lot of work. So we got to get there, and we're going to get there. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. So keep that in mind, and I'll see you in a later video. Cheers.